$100,000 US for each player.
Vice President Kashim Shettima rolls out a basket of rewards, cash prizes, national honors, and other incentives for Nigeria's victorious the Tigers squad at a colorful reception in Abuja last Monday. It's the nation's way of celebrating history, a record-breaking fifth consecutive crown at the FIBA Women's Afrobasket Championship clinched just a day earlier. The win takes Nigeria's total Afrobasket titles to an astonishing 7. But here is a revealing detail. Out of the 12 players who lifted the trophy, only Funaya Okoro and Mojanatu Musa played in the Nigerian Women's Basketball League before heading abroad. The rest were either born in the United States or started their basketball journeys there. It's a team makeup that has stirred debate over the state and future of the domestic game.
Every time we're going to play competition, we're running to America to grab people to play for us. We must have solid foundation here in Nigeria. If not, we are all these things, winning or not winning, don't make any sense to me. Grassroots is very important because the coaches here are supposed to be working. We are not working.
You can't stop them from traveling, and you can't say because we want to have home people inside. Yes, so they must stay from here. If our best are in Cotonou, we'll use them. If the best are in France, we'll use them.
Back home, basketball struggles with poor league administration and a shortage of quality facilities, raising questions about what becomes of homegrown talents.
A lot of program for the kids. Like now we're having this summer, we're supposed to play a lot of grassroots program under 12, under 10, on all those things. When I travel, when we go and play on that, there's a tournament called mini basketball for under 7 to 11. If you can start playing at that age, we get there. But you know that you only depend on national teams at national level. No. Let's start from the grassroots. Let's develop the game here first, and we're going to get there. We have talent in this country.
I think we have to overhaul the federation. Winning the African Championship and not developing Nigerian basketball at home is no progress. It's just having an upstairs without a foundation. So I will advise that we must overhaul Nigerian Basketball Federation.
And so as the champagne cork pops and the applause fades, attention shifts to the home court. The challenge is clear. Build a solid local structure so that the Tigers' winning story isn't just celebrated, but sustained.
All right, a wonderful report put together by our colleague, Dubno Diokonta. And one of the lines in that report, Austin, is build a sustainable local league so that the success of the Tigers will not just be celebrated, but it will open the doors for progress in basketball. I think that's the issue. Kehinde Idris, I'm going to expose him on national TV, said we've said, all of the respondents, all the people who spoke, we've said some of these things, we are tired of hearing them, we've said it. But at this moment when the Tigers won, hopefully the Tigers will join them, we need to do something about the domestic league so that winning can be repeated.
It is what it is. I mean, it's clear, it is what you sow, you reap. Check, for instance, what Sudan did to our home Super Eagles. They are reaping the benefits of what they've done. Because of the war in that country, the league has been suspended for over a year. But you can see that the structure that they have is still yielding results. Back in the day when we used to do so well with our basketball, you could tell that we had a good league structure. Mojanatu Musa came out of the league. Ifunaya Okoro came out of the league. But if you check the bulk of the Tigers team now, they are all foreign players, and they are doing that well because I've said it over and over again. They're coming from where there is a sound, productive system and structure, and that's what you need to keep talent boiling. So, but unfortunately, we need to keep talking about it. These guys must know that we will not get tired of reminding them that, look, there's so much you can do with planning. For instance, again, we just talked to Lumide Oyedeji, one with a solid team in 2015. That we had the league going for a bit at the time, but no legacy. We did nothing with that win. I mean, absolutely nothing. After that win, that was it. And that structure, we started building it since 2010. Let's call it a 5-year structure. And it yielded results in 2015. Tells you that when you put smart work into hard work, you must get results. They got to the final in 2013. They qualified for the Olympics. They won the Afro basket. There was a bit of a structure, a system, happening there. But we went to sleep. Now, we have won Afro basket for the women 5 times in a row. Banks, corporate organizations, they are giving the Tigress money. I'm not saying don't give them money, but no one is looking at the system, at the structure, and saying, let's invest into it because this is what will give us long-term benefits. Hear me?
Kate Idris, a word before we go?
Yeah. I've said probably one day, someday, we'll get to that point where win now syndrome will be out of our head. We continue every day to do a win now syndrome. That is why if we have an under 17 world competition, we want to win it because all we do is win now. So hopefully someday we'll get past that, and then winning will be a part of us after we put in, the sacrifices.
Well said, well said. Hopefully we'll be able to tone down celebrations. In the heat of celebration, look at what needs to be done. All right, let's move to football now. King of sport, they call it. Was it a good outing for the Super Eagles Team B? We didn't see this coming, to be honest. Everything looked as if it was going to go our way. I'm going to go across in a bit to talk about the results in Group B. Wasn't what we expected. Like I said, even if you were a pessimist, I know people who criticize the domestic league. None of them would have expected that Sudan would beat us 4-0. At 2-0, I stood up, got disinterested, and when I saw 4-0 then, I didn't know what to say. Senegal and Congo, you could see the fight. They played like champions, got the equalizer. They almost won the game. So Senegal and Congo ended 1-1, and Senegal in pole position to qualify from that group. There you have Sudan hitting Nigeria 4 goals. Kaide Idris, I want to come to you because, Group D is where we're going to stay. We all hailed, and I don't know if we're going to hit our words, we all hailed the selection of players.
Yeah.
We all said this is probably the best crop, best representation of the domestic league. So, based on all of that, we can form a baseline and say talent wasn't the problem. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally can agree.
In spite of the loss?
Yes. And the first game really did tell the story against Senegal. See, I'm somebody who, whether it's a football club I love or a national team I love, I watch a football game to the D. Everything. Even if you're losing 5-0, I still want to watch because I just want to have a hold of every story. But for today, in fact, the game against Senegal, there was a time I turned off my face. Because it wasn't about the results, Yemi. It was about the play. How were you playing? That was where I had issues. Against Sudan, it wasn't about Sudan scoring 4 goals. There are times you hear gallant losers. Not because they weren't walloped, not because they weren't beaten, but everybody who saw that game knew it was just a moment or moments.
2
that the
out
other
of
team
these
took.
4 goals were gifts.
Same with the Senegal win. The Senegal win, 1-0 win against Nigeria, was a proper gift.
You know what? I'm going to get back to it, but let me get to Austin. Something I want to get out of my mind. Austin didn't let us rest. Was questioning the media officer, questioning everybody, left, right, and center. He was asking the question that has come to the fore now because Nigerians won't let it rest. The role of Eric Shell in this team. Because a lot of people would argue and say the the local coaches, are with these players. They know them better. Would they have done a better job? Is that the reason we didn't get? I mean, is it a reasonable question to ask?
Of course, 100%. I was already asking it. I even said it to Eric Shell. I was with him in London after the Unity Cup. We had a conversation for almost 1 hour, and I said to him that, look, with this home-based team, what do you want to do with them, And I think he mentioned that he will supervise the team, because he has worked with some of them for the Unity Cup in London. And if I was Eric Shell, I would just watch, because there is a big assignment. Now, this has soiled it. And Nigerian football fans, they are very unforgiving, and they don't forget. Now, everybody's saying Eric Shell cannot lead the Super Eagles anymore. Eric Shell cannot take us to the World Cup. And you see, all of this is data mining. You don't need this type of comments when you're getting ready to go and play a very crucial World Cup qualifying game, So, Yemi, it's his loss. That's what it is. He was in charge of the team. So he couldn't beat Sudan 4-0. But if you said you will be there, I think the late Stephen Kesh, I can't remember which coach was at the sideline, and then just watch the home-based, coaches to just do the thing, Very, very important, particularly that contract that was quoting that day to Promise Efoge. It said that Eric Shell will go to the African Nations Championship on a supervisory role, But I understand the man's passion. He's willing to push his game project. He's been talking about building a style, an identity for the Super Eagles. But this is a big, big dent, Kehinde Idris. I don't know how they're going to come out of it, but they just need to pick themselves back up. Today they were clueless. There was this gra-gra, this hesitant football, kick and follow, no coordination. I don't know, Kehinde Idris, where are they going to go from here?
I don't know either. I've told people before the competition, I said, yes, it's a fantastic setup, but the Chan have not really been one of the teams I've trusted. I also was trying to give Eric Sekou another chance after the Zimbabwe game. Maybe was thrown in the heat of things into the deep waters when everything was already very murky and all of that. But this Chan, I think, had done further damage to his image and not helped by what the league has already been about. Now, we're understanding that so many shenanigans we hear in the league, whether you like it or not, these are the players who are involved in that league that has so many things that we complain about the ills. And it's telling. Now you see very lethargic way of attending to issues from these players. You see very lackadaisical attitude, in the way they play the football. Now the question I even have at the back of my head is this the same tactical approach from the coach? Or the players are not interpreting it right on the field? Because if this is the tactical approach from the coach, nah. This cannot be the coach to take Super Eagles to wherever they want to be. But if it is not, and it is the player, then everybody who is in charge of the league should have tears in their eyes right now. Because it's poor. Like I had said, watching Senegal, watching Sudan, trust me, there is nothing to write home about. In fact, even as a reporter, it feels very sad that you're selling this league that these players have come from to people. That is, come and watch the league, is our top league. I think it's sad. It's so unforgiving that you sold this league that these players have come from. So it's everything.
Kehinde, let me butt in. Now, it presents, it's not even a dilemma, it's a trilemma. Because we're looking at on one hand, you are refusing to agree that these boys don't have talent. We are all refusing to agree they are talented. If they are, the defense was 6 and 7s, schoolboy errors. They were clearing the ball as if that was the only thing available to do.
You can't string passes.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Put mildly, it was horrible.
Very horrible. Mildly
put, horrible. And if this is the best that we have, I agree with you that we should hold our hands, cover our faces. Yeah. That's the problem. If these guys are as good as we say they are, what happened? It's not the result.
It's not.
I agree with you on that. It's the way they play.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's
I
just the
totally
way they
agree.
play. And it's sad. I mean, if it was South Africa, Egypt, Algeria,
Maybe they would have been forgiven.
Sudan, a country
Yeah,
that
but-
has not played for 1 year, and
Yeah, but
it's-
that's the point actually. That at this African Nations Championship and with club league football in Africa, anything can pop up and just do their thing. But I totally agree with you that it is the way you lose a game that matters. You know, I thought that they had the momentum when they scored that goal and it was cancelled. You pick the game right from that, you know. You start getting, you take control, you take charge, play purposeful football. There's this thing about wanting to play to impress. Everybody wants to run, wants to get the ball. Nobody is trying to get into position. Nobody is trying to do something creative. It's unfortunate because when I have a chance to speak with players, I say football is about taking chances. We know what the league is, but now that you have this opportunity, just take a chance. Be your best. Play good football. Sadiq Ismail did a bit of a showing during the Unity Cup, and people talked about him. Sikiru Alimi was a bit decent. We know that he's not up to the standard of the other guys who play in Europe, but he gave a good showing. But with this African Nations Championship, I really pray that they'll pick themselves back up. People back home will now see what we're talking about. Our football has gone beyond kicking the ball. There's a bit of science into it now. A lot that is done in behind the scenes before you come to the pitch to kick football, you know. And that's why you worry for our teams that will come to the continent, because this is a bit of what they're going to go through, Yemi.
this is exactly what is going to happen. One of the positives I thought for having Eric Schell was the fact that maybe we could pick 1 or 2 players, but let's not even go there. I mean, that's off the table with this kind of performance. Let's look at what's going to happen tomorrow quickly as we can before we move on to the UEFA Super Cup. Matches will be played tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Chan, Côte d'Ivoire. This is the UEFA Super Cup. Maybe we'll talk about the Chan some other time. PSG and Tottenham, the venue of that Super Cup game, the curtain raiser for football in Europe, Blue Energy Stadium, Stadio Freely. That is going to be 8 p.m. tomorrow. Idris, at some point, PSG was hammering all English teams until they had a meeting and they decided they had to stop. I don't know if Austin was part of that meeting. And Chelsea bailed them out. So even if PSG beats Tottenham tomorrow, they're not going to have any bragging right because Chelsea had stopped
Jinx
them.
broken.
But they've given Tottenham a template.
Yeah.
Can Tottenham with Thomas Frank exploit? Bear in mind, James Maddison is not going to be there. Heung-min Son is not going to be there.
It's gone.
Do they have the materials?
It doesn't look like Tottenham does. I think PSG is still a fantastic team. In fact, I feel they are still the best team in Europe as of now. But that Chelsea game, you cannot get past it 3-0. In fact, PSG looked like they came there to learn football from Chelsea. You know, everything wasn't working right for them. And I think these are the games they will use to remind everybody why they are the top team in Europe. I think they will do a lot of damage to Tottenham Hotspur. But this is the reason why the Americans always say, why will you have a one-legged final? I think Tottenham Hotspur, will suffer in that game. But maybe if it were to be 2-3, they would have learnt maybe 2-3 games to be played.
This man in your picture, Solanke, Sri Lanka, we're Nigerians.
Yeah.
Do you think...
Dominic.
Do you think Heung-min Son, James Maddison not being around, that he would step up and carry the load?
I don't think he will step up. Even while he was at Bournemouth and all of the story, I just feel he's one of those guys who are good with the average team. Coming to a big team, it would just be a buzz, but it would never be, that special player.
Okay.
And I think that would be proven this coming season.
All right. I mean, I don't know if Austin agrees. Do you think there are players in this Tottenham squad that would step up? There's nothing to say about PSG. They're a good side. They're the best.
Yeah.
So I'm not wasting energy But Tottenham, with Thomas Frank in there now, what can he do? And they don't seem to be busy in the transfer market.
Yeah, but they've got Kudus, so he needs to prove a point in the team. I think Richarlison still has so much to give to the team. Bissouma is pretty decent, But look, this is team football, and that's what Tottenham showed in the Europa Cup final against Manchester United. Team football, popped up for them. But I know it's going to be very difficult against this PSG team that is coming with so much bitterness, bad blood from what happened against Chelsea at the FIFA Club World Cup. But Tottenham needs to prove a point. They need to prove a point that they can be a team without Heung-min Son. They were trying to prove that point that they can be a team without Harry Kane, and it was pretty difficult. They finished 17th on, I think 16th on the log in the last league campaign. So Thomas Frank has got a lot of work to do, particularly with the mentality of this team, But hey, with this Super Cup, it's a cup game, Yemi. It can go anywhere. Crystal Palace just showed us against Liverpool, and we are still taking minutes. We are still reading the minutes from that last national meeting we had that PSG should stop beating English teams. So Tottenham, they are going to go back to that document. It's a live document in England. We are updating it. So Chelsea updated it and said, no, and these guys, they beat Man City, beat Aston Villa, beat Arsenal, home and away, beat everybody. No, Chelsea, we baptize you, take our mantle and go and stop this. So Tottenham will read that and we'll see what they can do. But of course, the odds favor PSG. But haven't we seen stranger things in football, Yemi? So that's why it's difficult for me to come out now and then call it and say, oh, Tottenham, it's going to be very difficult for them. It's a cup game, and look, with a cup game, the objective is to lift a trophy. So it might just go, the way that you least expect. Kayode, you were laughing. You think football has stopped creating upsets?
Yeah, it was when you said they were trying to prove a point and they won the Europa League where they played Manchester United. As of that time, they were 16 and 17 on the English table. So that's like two blind people playing each other. It's nothing compared to them playing PSG.
The joke was on Manchester United.
It was on Manchester, really. Yeah.
I get it. You are forgiven. Unfortunately, that's where the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Still can't get over the fact that it ended Sudan 4, Nigeria 0. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, this is a wrap here in Lagos. I want to thank Kehinde Idris for his time. As always, the conversation doesn't end here. We take it out of the studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And the 100,000 the president is spreading. Chan Eagles, you missed your chance.
All right. Let's get over it and move on to other things. We'll see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.